And Bruce, over to you. Thank you very much. So we've got the social housing annual report to start with.
Yeah, so thank you for this. And look, firstly, we should be reporting quarterly, and we did have a quarterly report for the first quarter of the year, but we unfortunately got caught with COVID and the lockdown and the suspension of the committee. So that report didn't come. We've tried to bring all that information into this one. So this is really just an omnibus report that tells you what we've been doing in housing over the last 12 months. I think some of the highlights that I'll be pointing out would be the work that's been done in the area of increasing planned maintenance. We've with the completion of our earthquake program, we are now being able to focus more and more in the planned maintenance area. And the staff that are sitting behind have done a really good job in lifting that and doing more work, particularly in areas like painting, grounds maintenance for trees and those type of things, footpaths, etc. And a real focus on external matters. Some of the other highlights is the warm and dry program, where we have now installed heat pumps in all of our units, and all of them, the heat pump aspect is complete. Ventilation is nearly complete.
Nearly complete, due to be completed 30th or end of September. Currently we've installed 1,962 units with 178 remaining at the beginning of this week. So.
Yeah. And the draft stopping part of the program is just starting now, and we're moving on to the insulation. So the insulation component is for those units that comply but are exempt, and we are trying to improve that situation. Most of this will require major works, and a lot of that will involve taking off roofs, lifting the height, putting in insulation, and then putting in a new roof. And I'll draw your attention to the report where it says, well, we had originally committed in the report last year to complete by December. We now think that will be March before we complete that. With that chosen methodology of removing the roofs, we just want to maximise the time over summer where there is less chance of rain during that work. So we'd ask your forbearance on that delay, but I think that the outcomes that you'll get justify that in this case. New roofs which will add to the life of those units, incorporated within the same budget. And we're also at the stage of looking at the program to see if we can start to put double glazing in more units. That also include doors?
It will include doors if required. Basically we'll go through a complex. If they need windows, we'll do the doors as well, so keep them.
Yeah, and we think there's about 200 odd units that will benefit from that. I think that's about that. So that's an additional benefit that's coming out of that program. I think that the feedback we've certainly received has been overwhelmingly positive about the program today. Carmen, is there anything else that really stands out you wanted to talk about?
I just guess the overall kind of amount of work that we have done this year. I mean, we've completed the earthquake program, which ran from April 2019 through to the end of December. We completed 161 units, upgrades, and just the overall general program that we have delivered in terms of, as Bruce has already mentioned, a lot of the exterior paints, the planned program in terms of paths, the gardening program that we have in terms of major works and trees, etc. And as well as we have completed quite a number of interior works, upgrades that we take the opportunity to upgrade and remodel when they are vacant, which is quite a significant piece of work that we do. And also we have started the curtaining program, which I think is also a huge bonus. and we have done one complex around that, which was 68 units. I believe we installed 58 into 58 units where tier units declined for that work to be done. And also, obviously, our warm and dry that we're continuing to do, which our team is highly involved with as well. And that program has been running to date really well. We're achieving a lot of significant progress with that. So I think our team has contributed significantly to the upgrade of the portfolio over this last year, and I'm very proud of what the team have achieved over that time.
Great, thank you very much. Mike, then Melanie.
Thank you. And some of those highlights are great to hear and read. I guess the question I've got is around a couple of sites and the future of them. And one of them is the vacant bit of land on Salisbury Street, and the other one is Beachville Road. And I guess when we look at them, and I'm just wondering what is the train of thought. There's a lot of money, I guess, tied up there in land that we could reinvest back into more social housing that currently we could develop there. I'm just sort of wondering if there's any thoughts on those.
Yeah.
So Salisbury Street, that vacant land is currently being given to the trust.
Okay.
So that's there. Beachville,
It's also
Is that there as well?
transferred to the trust.
Okay.
Yeah. However, the point is well made, and at a coming council meeting, you'll see a report on Cecil Courts, which is on Brougham Street, where we're recommending that we dispose of that property and then reinvest the returns from that, subject to council agreeing to that path, in lifting the quality of units. And we're working on another report on another complex as well that should come through to council. And the reason for council rather than this committee is this committee's delegations, as far as I can see, doesn't include the disposal of land aspect, which is something we might need some discussion on. But there is some work going on along those lines.
And I assume those two places I mentioned, that the trust would be considering what the best use for that land is.
Absolutely. And I can get some updates, and I'll provide with memos from the trust on that.
Melanie?
I'm going to ask the obvious, but if people aren't wanting the thermal curtains in now, they'll be put in when they move or it becomes vacant, I presume?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, so I mean, in terms of the curtaining program, if tenants do not wish to have the curtains, then that is their consideration. But obviously, as we go through vacant programming, that will be the standard, and we will upgrade at that point.
Right. Any further questions? No, do I have a mover for receipt of the report? Mike and then Melanie, thank you. Okay, any debate? No, in that case I'll put that. All in favour say aye. Aye. Any against? Aye. Thanks, Catherine. I declare that carried. Thank you very much. That was really good. Thanks, Carmen and Bruce. Thanks. And so now we move